We're back here at the Egypt Valley Country Club, and I am joined by Calvin Head women's basketball coach Mark Christner, my good friend who just finished up year 4 and a fellow Hudsonville resident like myself. Mark, what's it been like to come back to your alma mater? You were a student here, assistant coach for a number of years, then went away to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where you're head coach there. Now you're back.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on it.
Hey, it's been special. I mean, we've enjoyed every minute of being back at Calvin, my wife, Sarah, and our kids. It's been a good move for our family. I think professionally it's been great because we have an awesome group of women we've been able to work with, and wonderful support from friends like you and from Dr. Timmer and the folks in our coaching hallways. The conversation is always really fun. And, it's pretty cool to be a part of something that's just much bigger than yourself. And I think Calvin Athletics is certainly that.
Well, your team had a real nice year this year, 21-6 overall, hitting that 20-win plateau. And just your thoughts on that team, the season, and what you were able to accomplish.
It was a neat team, Jeff. I mean, we had a nice mix of returners and older players with some younger folks kind of moving into some different roles. And so it was, as a coach, it was really fun to see the gelling that took place over the course of the year. And as a coach, you want your seniors to have their best years of their career. And I think if we went through the list with our 4 who have graduated, all 4 had their best year.
They did.
And as a coach, that's super fulfilling. And we have a lot coming back, and we'll look a little different, but we're pretty eager to think about and continue to work on how we're going to be a little bit better and a little bit different moving forward.
Yeah, and we've talked a little bit off camera here that you will be a little bit different, but you have that nice group of youthful core to work off of, and then a recruiting class that will also contribute. So can you give us a sneak peek, maybe without getting into lots of names, but what you might look like for next year?
Sure. I do think we've added some length, and we've added some athleticism, and we have some versatile parts. And so I think we will not have a senior really on our roster that, unless something weird happens late in this recruiting cycle. But I think the ability to do some different things defensively. I think the ability to play at some different tempos will be really fun. And I think it'll be fun for the Calvin community to watch. I know as a staff, we're looking forward to rehashing a little bit of how we've done some things. And but there's an eagerness, I think, about our group that is good. And a lot of our returners, we have 14 of them who have been a part of some winning here now in the last 2 years. I think we're 40-14 over the last 2 years. And, we continue to chase the 2 teams in our league that are ahead of us. And but it'll be fun. I am looking forward to a little bit of a new style and playing a little faster and maybe creating some problems in some different ways for our opponents.
What about the schedule for next year? What does that look like?
I'm pretty excited about it. We've always tried to vary it. I think the biggest highlight is the trip to Oregon between Christmas and New Year's. We'll go play George Fox and Pacific. Pacific had a really nice year. This past year, George Fox will have a new coach, and so they've had great tradition, though, of women's basketball out there. So Adam Halderson, who's our track and field coach, has volunteered to help point us in good directions for local food and local stops. So that'll be fun. We have some tournaments at the beginning of the year, probably the important one there, and they're all important, but we do go to DePaul in Greencastle the second weekend of the year. Milliken and Otterbein and DePaul and us will be there. So it'll be a great tournament early in the year. And then our home opener is the Saturday after Thanksgiving against University of Wisconsin at Whitewater, who's been a great opponent for us and certainly has had a great run over the last couple years nationally.
Well, and those Christmas trips are always great opportunities to bond. And, even as we have a lot of alumni here, they'll talk about that. I think you were on that trip to Cal State Stanislaus. Am I correct on that? You got to go to San Francisco and Alcatraz and all that kind of thing. What do you remember about that trip?
I remember... I remember being on Fisherman's Wharf and having some clam chowder in San Francisco. I do remember Russ Iwema trying to get into a cell at Alcatraz. Russ was like 6'9", a teammate of mine.
He wouldn't have been a good candidate to escape with a Birdman or anything, I don't think.
It was really fun. I do remember my roommate having a concussion. We had to wake him up every Aaron Winkle having every couple hours having to wake him up. But it was a great trip, and I know events like today help support those experiences for our student athletes, not only in basketball but across the board. And so we're super appreciative of the people that support Calvin Athletics, not only today but every day.
Yeah. Well, and one other bit of support. You kind of mentioned her, but your wife, you know, a
Yep.
former Kelvin student athlete. She played basketball, she played softball,
Yep.
and I'm sure for her to be back home near family is pretty key. And it's pretty awesome, isn't it, to have a spouse who supports a head coach when you have a lot of demands on your time, right?
It is the most important thing, you know.
Yeah.
It is, and you know, we see young coaches who are newly married, and you know, that spousal support and understanding. Even, you know, it might not be,
Yeah.
hey, I don't love the fact that you got to go to Louisville and Omaha in July, but okay, we'll make it work,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, I've been doing it for 20 years in some way, shape, or form, and she's been right by my side. And yeah, she's awesome. She's as competitive as they come
She
too.
is.
So she doesn't like when we don't win, and nobody's happy at home.
We were just talking the other day about how, as a freshman, she was supposed to be a shortstop, but had to play catcher,
sure.
and team
Yeah.
went all the way to the World Series.
Yeah.
And she did a fine job of it. So
Yeah, no, she and you know, we're super supportive of Coach Hilgert and her squad, and
Yeah.
you know, they had a great year. And yeah, we think of those trips to Kalamazoo and to St. Mary's, and
Yeah.
and then Sarah kind of coached with Deb and
Yeah.
Amber after. So yeah, good times and good
Good times.
memories, a lot of good memories. So
Yeah.
we're grateful to be back here.
Well, hopefully it'll be some good times and memories out here in the links today.
Sure.
Good weather for
Sure.
sure. That's
Yeah,
always
it's
a
awesome
blessing.
weather. Yep.
So great to have you by. Thanks for
Yeah,
stopping by.
yeah. Thanks, Jeff. I
Alrighty.
appreciate it. Go
Cool.
Calvin.
Go Calvin.